The fabled collection of Infinity Stones are some of the most powerful artifacts in the known universe, and served as the catalyst for the appropriately named Infinity Saga, which comprised the first 10 years of MCU films. Throughout the multiversal saga, we've seen the impact of the Infinity Stones have had on not only just the main universe, but the neighboring realities of the multiverse as well. Spoilers lie ahead for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. In the Multiverse of Madness, we venture to Earth 838, which seems to be very similar to our own Earth 616, with some key differences. In this universe, the world is protected by the group known as the Illuminati, which is an assembly of some of the most powerful organizations in this timeline. These include representatives of the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and the Avengers, among others. And we have yet to get to see how this universe handled the looming threat of Thanos. On Earth 838, Thanos was defeated on Titan despite having 4 confirmed Infinity Stones, as is shown to the audience, as well as Doctor Strange via Professor X, as we see the Illuminati defeated Thanos on Titan. But with Thanos' defeat, what happened to his Infinity Stones after the attack on Titan? And where are the 2 remaining Infinity Stones that were not collected by Thanos? Well, stick with us today, watchers of the Marvel Multiverse, as we attempt to track down the whereabouts of the Infinity Stones of Earth 838, and figure out exactly what happened to them. We've previously theorized that Doctor Strange had to let Thanos win in order to ensure that the stones were ultimately destroyed, because if they weren't destroyed, then someone else might come to seek their power, and this individual or organization might be much more dangerous than Thanos ever was. This is why the events of Earth 616 may play out perfectly, with the stones in the end being destroyed and Thanos ultimately being defeated. On Earth 838, however, this never happened, and all the stones are presumably still fully intact. In the comics, the Illuminati has divided the stones amongst themselves on numerous occasions, and given what we know about the team on Earth 838, this also seems to be a likely option to start with, in regards to the 4 stones that Thanos collected. If that is the case, however, then where are the stones after the death of the Illuminati, and what lies in store for them going forward? Still though, we want to make it clear that our current theory stands that each member of the Illuminati, or at least most of the members of the Illuminati, with there being 6 in the film, 4 of the Infinity Stones are likely in possession of each of the members, likely the most powerful of the members. We know of 4 confirmed Infinity Stones being present on Titan, and following the comic precedent, we can figure out where these first 4 might ultimately be now in Earth 838. The members of the Illuminati have multiple places where they might keep their respective stones, beginning with the leader of the Illuminati and one of the most avidly awaited inclusions into the MCU, Mr. Fantastic Reed Richards. Reed Richards is often cited as the single most intelligent individual on planet Earth, and he used this internet to build the Baxter Foundation, named for the Baxter building in the original material, and this seems to be a logical starting place for the stones. The Illuminati have been wise enough to divide the stones and keep them as far away from one another as possible, at least in the comics, and keeping one of them in the care of the Fantastic Four would be ultimately a very smart move. While the Baxter building is a likely option, it's even possible that Reed Richards took this a step further. Is it possible that Reed Richards didn't just put the stone into his own care, but might have actually placed it in another dimension for safekeeping? If this is the case, then is it possible that one of the stones might be locked away in the negative zone? Knowing how intelligent Reed Richards is, this does not seem far-fetched at all to believe, and Reed likely would have taken immense care to relocate the stones properly. Reed is also famous for his discovery of the negative zone and his affinity to use the dimension for his own purposes, even constructing Prison 42 as a safe house to keep villains secure and unable to escape. Other members of the Illuminati also have places where they could have reasonably stowed away the Infinity Stones, whether that's Professor Xavier's schoolhouse for gifted mutants, or the home of the 838 Avengers, or even SWORD. This division can actually be further supported by more comic evidence as it pertains to the Inhumans, led by Eckardt Boltigan, who we see holds a seat on the Illuminati. In the comics, the Inhumans have a colony located on the moon, which would have been removing one of the stones even further from its brethren, and might be another logical hiding place for one of them. If the primary 4 stones from Thanos' gauntlet can be found in their respective hiding places of the Illuminati members, then it stands to reason that their teammates would continue guarding the stones even after their untimely departure at the hands of Wanda Maximoff. As for the other 2 stones that were not collected by Thanos, however, we don't know how far back this timeline diverges from the mainline MCU. though we have evidence to indicate that it was thousands of years ago. This evidence comes in the form of Charles Xavier himself and the inclusion of mutants in this new timeline. In the comics, the mutants can be traced back to experiments done by the Celestials at the dawn of humanity itself, indicating that the timelines diverged when humanity was just beginning, or at least that's as far back as we can trace it. If this is the case, then the Time Stone might never have come into the hands of the sorcerers to even begin with, and might be somewhere else entirely, but perhaps the more interesting of the two stones is the Mind Stone. Given a few key factors, we can deduce a few possible hiding places that the Mind Stone might be, but one explanation seems the most likely. On Earth 838, the Mind Stone could most likely at some point in time be found in the Kree, but for this explanation, we need to dive into an older theory. Several months back, we proposed a connection between Ultron and the Kree Empire, that being that both artificial superintelligences were product of the Mind Stone and both could be attributed their sentience to this particular stone. For a full breakdown of this video, however, be sure to check that out. On Earth 838, however, we do not believe that Ultron was created by the Mind Stone, for a few reasons actually. The first of which is that Ultron was a success, and his obedience to the Illuminati shows that he was likely never bent on destroying this Earth. On Earth 616, however, the Mind Stone played an important role in Ultron's violence, as the Mind Stone has been shown on multiple occasions to corrupt its user. Even the Avengers themselves in the first film, it corrupted Loki and the minions that he mind controlled, as well as again almost drove the Avengers to fighting one another above the helicarrier in the first outing. The success and pacifism of this Ultron, however, seems to indicate that he was entirely artificial and was not made with the aid of the Mind Stone. If this is the case though, then it could be because the stone never came to Earth to begin with. The presence of Captain Marvel, however, indicates the presence of the Kree Empire, and presumably the supreme intelligence that runs their kingdom. If the previous theory is to be believed, and if the Kree used the Mind Stone as previously theorized, then this could mean that within the Kree Empire was the Mind Stone's last known location. This doesn't necessarily mean that the Mind Stone is still in the hands of the Kree, only that it is most likely to be the last known whereabouts of the stone. Though tracking the stone from here gets rather tricky, though it's not likely it's with the Kree any longer. Thanos may be known as the Mad Titan, but he is a gifted tactician and a talented strategist who pursued his goals with purpose. The reason that he attacked Xandar first on Earth 616 is because they mounted the most formidable defense force. If word had gotten that he was seeking the stones and he saved the Power Stone for last, then Xandar would have heightened their defenses and made his siege much more difficult. Given though that Thanos decided to track the Mind Stone last on Earth 838, however, indicates that it was not in the hands of the Empire as powerful as the Kree, because of course in the mainline MCU he attacked Xandar first, but exactly where we cannot say as of yet, as it could theoretically be anywhere in the 838 universe, whether that be in Odin's care or somewhere else entirely. But anyway, my friends, what do you think of this assessment? Where do you think the Infinity Stones are on Earth 838? And specifically, where do you think the Time Stone and the Mind Stone can be found? The last of the stones that were not in Thanos' possession on Titan. As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching the channel. Hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and have a great day.